You're now ready to sew your book using the Japanese 4-hole binding. I recommend leaving a clip on the foredge of your pages and cover, that way everything will stay lined up as you're sewing. Another tip is to keep your needle and a piece of brightly colored paper at all times when you're not using it, that way it's difficult to lose. So your first step will be to cut 22 inches of thread and to thread your needle. One tip for threading your needle is to use your thumbnail or a tool such as the end of your scissors to flatten the end of the thread. That way it'll easily go through the hole in your needle. Another trick is to pull the needle through about 4 or 5 inches. Find a place in the thread about 1 or 2 inches from where you pulled on, and basically flatten a hole and poke your needle through the thread at that point. Once you pull it tight, the thread will not come off your needle. That'll make sewing much easier for you. Now we're ready to sew. Start 2 or 3 pages in from the front of the book. You're going to start at hole number 2. The way the holes are numbered is from top to bottom. Hole number 1, hole number 2, hole number 3, hole number 4. You'll start inside at hole number 2, and you're going to go from the inside to the outside. Leave about 4 inches of extra thread to tie off at the end. You'll tuck that inside. And the first step is to wrap around the spine of your book. Go back through hole number 2 from the back to the front and pull that thread nice and tight. You move down the book along the spine through hole number 3. Again, wrapping the spine, this time from the back side to the front side. Pulling tight as you go. We're going to move down again, now through hole number 4. You'll notice it seems like I'm not finishing my stitches as I go. Don't worry about this now. As we work our way back up the book, you'll finish in all the places where the stitches look like it's not done. Again, through hole number 4, you'll wrap the spine. Are you starting to see a pattern? Wrap the bottom of the book. This is where we start to work our way back up and finish in where the stitching looked incomplete. Go back up through hole number 3 from the front to the back. Back up through hole number 2 from the back to the front. I'm going to proceed up the spine through hole number 1, wrap the spine, wrap the top of the book, now I'm almost finished. Make sure all my stitches are nice and tight, and I'm going to do this last stitch back through the back to the front. At this point, I'm going to take off my clip. And now, I need to somehow find my way back into this page where I started. So from the front here, I'm going to just find my needle through the hole there. You can see it's coming out the inside. So everything looks okay on the outside. I'm ready to tie off on the inside. To do this, tie these 2 strings together into a tight double knot. So I'm going to tie once, I'm going to tie twice. I'm going to trim these threads to about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to use a tool. I can use my needle I can use the edge of my scissors, or I can use a bone folder to tuck these threads back into the spine where they're hidden away and you can't see them inside. On the outside it looks like this when I'm finished sewing. We just have a few details to take care of before the book's complete. One of the last details I need to take care of are these little corners here. If your tag has cropped corners, you'll want to crop your pages inside to match. I like to use a heavy-duty craft knife to do this. And I'll place a ruler right at this edge. Make sure you have a very sharp blade, and then just trim down carefully. So that the edge of your papers inside matches that cropped edge of your cover. The very last step is to attach your strings. If you didn't have strings from your tag to begin with, cut 2 cotton strings, each about 10 inches long. To attach them, you'll fold it in half. Take the folded loop through the cover, and then pull the open ends through that folded loop. You'll repeat with the back cover. And then you can use these strings to tie your book closed. There's your tag notebook.